Hey guys, Alessio Rastani of leadingtrader.com. Hope you're well. In this video, I'm going to talk to you what's happening here in the Bitcoin market as it continues to surge higher, as you can see here. In fact, in just a few moments, when I play this hilarious clip, the financial news media cannot believe what's happening, by the way. Now, if you've been watching my recent videos, you'll know that we've been expecting this move on Bitcoin. In fact, the last video I put out there, I said that Bitcoin short sellers are more likely to get slaughtered and that we're going to see further upward pressure in Bitcoin. Now, in this video, I want to tell you about an important mistake which many folks out there keep making, and I want to make sure you don't make it. You see, guys, just about a few weeks ago, when Bitcoin was at these lows down here, do you know what the financial news media were telling people? Let me play you this clip.
That there's more blood to come. It's calling a 62% chance of a bear market, and a bear market means that we're going to test 53.50 as the next point, and there's a 62% chance of that. So right now, my money is on the market continuing to go down and going down to about 53.50, which is the next stop. And the time horizon there is in about the next 2 weeks.
So as you can see, guys, the title of that video was How Low Can Bitcoin Go? And many financial experts on news media were saying it's going to go down to the 5,000s. But let me tell you what these same people are saying now on financial news media, as you'll see in this particular video posted just very recently this week called the Bitcoin Breakout. Let me play you the clip.
And I also hope there's an ETF, but I'm with Bob on this. I think the chances of an ETF in 2018 are relatively low. There's still quite a few things, but that doesn't stop speculation on that. And that's one reason why we've seen this bottoming process here from 5,800 all the way up here.
So the three reasons why you said this bullish breakout could be different or is here to stay, those are the same three reasons that you could have said 5 months ago or in December. Why are they more real today versus before when Bitcoin was on a decline still?
Well, you know, the madness of crowds is something we try to figure out all the time, but I would suggest that 5 months ago we had some headwinds. Remember, we had multiple different bouts of tax selling. We had Mt. Gox trustee selling. There were a lot of big sellers out there. That appears to be over, and so now you've had this positive news flow, and I talked about it when we were at 5,800. I was shocked that people weren't getting it, and sometimes it just takes the market a little bit to catch up.
All right, guys, did you hear that? Did you hear what that lady just said in that video? She was absolutely spot on when she asked that question. She said, well, those same reasons you just pointed out, those three reasons you're saying why Bitcoin is going up, weren't they there just about over a month ago or 3 months ago? Absolutely. Those reasons, those so-called reasons that everybody's talking about for why Bitcoin is going up, they were there months before. People were aware of them. Traders were aware of them. The big investors and financial players were aware of those reasons. So what's changed? Oh, suddenly and magically, these reasons is why Bitcoin is now surging. This is why, guys, I've said this before and I want to say it again. Financial news media and expert opinion are by far the biggest pile of garbage. I would call it much worse. I would call it a turd burger. Excuse the expression, guys. But it's the biggest pile of nonsense out there, which is why I refuse to listen to them and why I would suggest to you to be very cautious of what the financial news media are telling you. And here's why. There is a psychological bias that many psychologists have talked about that I want to bring to your attention. It's called the availability bias. Actually, it's called the availability heuristic or bias. And according to Wikipedia, here's how they define it. The availability bias or heuristic is a mental shortcut that relies on immediate examples that come to a given person's mind when evaluating a specific topic, concept, method, or decision. The availability heuristic or bias operates on the notion that if something can be recalled, it must be important, or at least more important than alternative solutions which are not as readily recalled. Subsequently, under the availability heuristic, people tend to heavily weigh their judgment toward more recent information, making new opinions biased towards that latest news. So guys, here's what you need to remember from this. The availability bias is an irrational assumption that the reasons for why something is happening is already known to us, is already available. That is absolutely not true. Often, when we look at the price of why something is happening, why it's going up, why it's going down, the true reasons are not known to us. The availability bias makes us think irrationally that the reason why something is happening is already available to us, that we know what the real reason is. The truth is that we do not know the true reason. And actually, it doesn't matter. As you probably noticed from my videos, I don't really care what the reason is. The only thing that matters to us and the only thing that matters to me and professional traders, we don't care about the news. We don't care about the reasons or causes. All we care about is what the price is doing and what the charts are telling us. One of the best books ever written out there on financial financial trading is by Nassim Taleb, who's a financial trader. He's written this book called Fooled by Randomness. Here's what Nassim Taleb said in this book, that often what financial news networks do is try to pretend to you that they know the reason why something is happening. Actually, they don't know the reason. In fact, let me show you an example. This is CNBC's website on the day when stock markets were plunging. Notice the headline here. The headline right here says, "Stocks slide," in other words, go down, "on more trade war worries." Now, take a look at the timestamp, the date stamp on that article, the 15th of June, 2018. On that same day, when they gave this bearish headline, on the same day, they had posted a separate article saying the exact opposite. Take a look. "Stocks cut losses as Wall Street shrugs off trade war fears." So when was this posted? This was posted on 15th of June, 2018, the same exact day. Two completely opposite articles on the same day. And the same thing is true, by the way, with Bitcoin. Just a few days after they posted this video about Bitcoin going down to 5,000, they had another expert on saying the exact opposite. It's going to go up. So first of all, let me explain to you why I don't listen to financial news networks and why it's a dangerous thing to do to listen to what any of these guys are saying. You have to first appreciate, number one, that these financial channels have to fill the air. They're 24 hours. They have to fill that airspace with so-called information. And the problem is they provide too much information, and most of that is not even useful. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is that most of these financial networks and so-called experts are making the same mistakes that psychologists have warned us against, which is the availability bias. They think, a lot of these financial networks think that the reasons are already known, that we know what the reasons are as to why something's going up and why something's going down. But as this newscaster, who I have to say, she asked a very good question. Well, what's so new about this news you're talking about? This guy over here was giving us 3 reasons why Bitcoin's going up. And as this lady over here, the news anchor, correctly asked, well, what's so new about this news you're talking about? We already knew this months ago. If you get the time, read a book called A Complete Turtle Trader by Michael Koval. He makes an excellent point in this book, which is that the big financial traders out there don't care about the reasons or the causes. Here's why. You see, guys, what you have to appreciate is that our brains are wired through the process of evolution and through natural selection to think about cause and effect. In other words, our brains are naturally wired in such a way that we think of the world in terms of cause and effect. For example, we want to know why something is happening. Why is something going up? This is why a lot of children are very curious. They keep asking why this, why that. So you have to appreciate, guys, that our brains are naturally wired through the process of biology, through the process of evolution, that we think of the world only in terms of cause and effect. There has to be a cause for something. There has to be a reason for something. And that's why, guys, we need to be very careful when we watch financial news networks, because they try to pretend that somehow they know the reasons, or worse, that the reasons are already known to us. But that's not true. Remember the availability bias. Michael Koval, the author of this fantastic book on the best traders, he says something quite interesting. He says that it's hilarious that we think that some journalist who has gone to journalism school for 3 years, somehow he knows the real reasons why price or why certain market's going to go up and why a certain market's going down. So what you have to appreciate is that they provide information for the masses. But as Alexander Elder says in one of his books, we don't want information for the masses. We want information for the classes. In other words, the elites. I know that sounds a bit elitist, but what I'm really saying here is that the professional traders, the elites, they don't care about the financial news networks. They don't care about the reasons, because we don't know the reasons. Nobody knows what the real reasons are. All we care about is what the price is telling us. And guys, before I finish this video, let me just quickly say this, that remember please to subscribe to our videos so you don't miss the next update. And also guys, please turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video as well. Thanks a lot.